I'm gonna go make
Okay,
a copy.
I got to sit out there anyway. I can come up
Saw
there.
that, but that's all. My family, stay in town, I'm benefiting from city equipment when it's just to take care of extra raw material that the city has. With that in mind, that we have to pay attention with what we're doing with our trees. IEPA has a permit now. It's called a green permit. If you burn any trees you cut down in Lebanon, personally, you have to pay a permit to burn. I don't know when they started that. I have to get more information on it or to get back with you on it, but just want to try and save the city as much money as possible. But I think our abatement's gonna be for our street sweeping, that's hauling it off, 40-yard dumpsters, 30-yard dumpsters. And then get them hauled out of the city. I think we generate, it's a 9-yard body, I think we had just a touch under 250 ton of wet leaves that we were bringing off the street every 3 months. So that's gotta go somewhere, just food for thought. If anyone has any ideas, I'd be happy to field any of that.
Cody,
Yes,
not an idea, but a question. I thought I heard you say that you have to have a permit now to burn.
It's a Illinois EPA green permit.
Could you send me information on that? Because we may have to do an ordinance to require individuals in the city who are burning trees and that stuff.
It only applies to the municipal side of it. So the trees that came out for the 2-block McAllister, part of the bidding process, and this is what brought it to my attention. We were charged for getting rid of the trees because when you cut down anything for a project in town or anything like that, especially state work, you have to have that green IEPA permit. Now, where does that money go? Does it go back into planting trees in Lebanon? Who knows where it goes? But someone somewhere is getting $250, $300 a pop or whatever they figure that price would be to have that permit. So
That's what I want to know. Does that permit apply to residents?
no, it's only for the city itself.
Municipal, okay.
So we're free and clear.
We're free and clear as, yeah, so anybody at home that's burning today, or for however long, no, you don't have to have a permit for that, but do not burn your wet leaves. That's if anyone's listening, that's a big
Yeah,
thing.
don't burn wet leaves. That's mold and stuff gets in the air.
Anybody can come to my office, but our extension 107, call City Hall. I'd be glad to take ideas.
Thank you, Cody. Any unfinished business?
Do we have any update on Creekside at all? With the new lawyer, getting with their lawyer, anything at all?
That's beyond the committees, but I don't know where
Okay.
we are on
Am I allowed to
that.
talk?
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay. I've been trying to get in touch with somebody from MedStar. And I got in touch with John and Charles Kelly. And, Charles said, that we can get together, because, Sean is working with me and have a meeting and see just exactly what needs to be done in the back and decide, bring it back to the council and decide what needs to be done, how much, and who's gonna do it. Now, we don't want to drag our feet on this. We want to get it done.
Cause that might be, that's part of contributing to the contracts not getting.
Yeah, and I asked them about the letter that Mike said that he sent. No one has received a letter from Mike. So I don't, that's dead.
I'm gonna jump in there, George, because I gave our new lawyer, Luke, a copy of the MedStar contract to look at today, and he's supposed to come back with something.
Okay, and Mike supposedly sent a letter to MedStar.
No one from MedStar received a letter from
Right,
Mike.
that's what I'm saying. He supposedly sent one and never, unless it went to the wrong place, and that's why nobody has it.
There were quite a few things that, were supposedly sent out that I'm finding out weren't sent.
He didn't do it. Move on, yep, he didn't do it.
We need to get that settled. We also need to find out where we are with the library. The library has not gotten back to us, from what I understand either. And
I also talked to Doug Kitstein about a disaster shelter, and there's a possibility that he, will let us use his building. But first, we need to know what it all entails.
which building is his building?
The old school.
The old school, okay. Yeah, that
They're
is a
working
good
on.
building in the basement, because I've been in there many times.
That's what I asked him for, the basement.
Yeah, we'd have to probably, I don't know all the particulars, but from what I've picked up through discussions and reading, is for short term, like during a storm, all we would need to have available are places for people to sit, chairs, and perhaps water.
Well, it depends on how long
Right,
it lasts.
if it's gonna be for a long period, then there would probably need to be some cots available and some other facilities available, plus the restroom facilities have to be available. So that's something that a couple of us need to work on. Help you out with that. I can help you out with that, Linda. In terms of what has to go into one, because
And I might have some numbers for you for larger scale disasters.
Well, I wanted to get more than one
Cost.
place because everybody's not gonna be able to
No.
fit in there. But what, another place is that Masonic Temple, because from what I was told, the city owns that building.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do
So,
we know, by the way, for example, I know there's a parcel of land along Route 50, near, near the street, near the intersection. And what?
Belleville, 50.
Belleville 50, there's a parcel back in there owned by the city. We can't use that for dumping because it's part of the wetlands. It floods regularly, so we couldn't do anything there. It used to be used as basically a dump for the city. But the EPA got after the city decades ago about using it for that purpose.
but I would like to, but I don't know who to contact for
Masonic
that
Temple,
building, the Masonic Temple.
if you look it up, you'll probably find,
Yeah.
well, I forget what the title is of the person.
I believe we have a number possibly in the water system for a contact there.
Okay,
I can check into that. tomorrow,
okay.
Let you know.
And I have a contact with the Masons that I know, who's pretty up in that group. I'm not gonna get
So
information.
that's all I have.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Linda. Okay, any other discussion about unfinished business? Any new business?
George, I have one thing. This past, what was it, Friday? Thursday, or Friday? So this past week, Penny came down and helped us pump out the road between McDonald's BP area. Once we were able to get the water pumped out, one of our trucks, with the assistance of Chris Truck Service, ran rock from local sources here in town. It is completely filled at this time, and then you'll see rock that is backfilled down the center. That is for when we dig the rest of it. We should have pretty well all material on site. So once it dries out again, we can start digging. We'll be moving dirt back out of there again, and that dirt that we are moving out, we're going to stockpile for any future events of any dirt needed in town. Hopefully that'll hold us over for a little bit so we can store some raw material,
So that'll be clean fill.
clean fill dirt.
Okay,
So.
all right, very good. Yeah, we don't have, that's okay. You look at our few parcels the city owns that are not being used and perhaps determine where we are, because the streets sweeper cleanings, we have to treat some of that probably.
When it's heavy, trash material in it. As of right now, because it was going out to my grandfather's, I would just pick dirt on the weekends and clean as much as I could out of it. Spread it out, and then whatever was left, it was dumped in. Did I get 100% of the trash? No, but it was my Saturday that
My trash is probably biodegradable.
hopefully, I mean, it was on city property, on personal property, so a little difference on rules and regulations on soil, but. Before that, and that's something that we need to look into as well, by the water tower, all that area over there, before I started. They used to bury the leaves over there that. That's designated for cemetery. It's gonna cause future issues for cemetery stuff. Because if we go to bury someone and we find a void of leaves, it's gonna be a mess, and if there's headstones out there, we're not gonna have any headstones falling in or anywhere. Just like the the southwest quadrant of the cemetery by Mr. Wild's rental properties. There's every bit of 7 to 8 inches of standing water. I mean, you could walk out there and you could sink in the mud. It's pretty bad. So, you might get it clerk. You get passed on the fun stuff. Sorry, Paul. About if there's any lots over there that are sold, maybe if the city looks into offering to move them away from that area, because once we dig, we're gonna need steel plates to keep it there. We're not gonna be able to keep a hole over there. It's too wet. It's wet year round. We're currently weed eating that section. 60 by 80, probably 60 by 80. We can't get them over there.
Can we build that?
Anything's possible, but it'd be a lot of dirt. You're probably moving 4.5, 5 foot up. And then you have to figure the houses behind you. If we flood them out, we'll have another issue on our hands. We can tile it. The only problem is we'd have to get it again. Sorry, Paul. We'd have to go in and see if anyone's buried over there before we just tile it to try and get it to dry out. There's always options, but just thinking, how much do we want to try? I think they're what, 12, lots, 1,200, something like that. I mean, for the money that's being spent, we're spending twice as much getting equipment in and out in that area. Every time we dig over there, Penny has to bring a pump for us out to put a casket in it, because it fills up with water the day we dig it. That's during the summer too, when it's dry, it's still getting water.
What area is that, Terry?
It'd be the southwest corner by Terry Wiles, right where Harmon and,
On the
Country
bank,
Street
just
meet.
before the bank.
So it'd be on the backside?
Yeah. Just some food for thought, and I'll have a bunch of stuff together for you guys. That grass area that's up by the water tower too, maybe look at future endeavors for. Maybe not as much as cemetery plots, or if we do.
The area by the water tower is kind of a scenic area, so we don't want to put anything there that's gonna take away the good looks of the base of the tower.
We also cut that lot as of right now. I don't know if the city would entertain maybe calling somebody to farm that 7.5 acres for revenue until now, because all we do is mow it. Gets a little tall, we mow with a brush hog. It gets a little tall, we mow with a brush hog. Maybe get some revenue back in.
It was farmed.
Was it?
It was farmed, and then was complaints about the farm field.
Oh,
So might wanna just go, do you remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, there was the complaints about the farm, but that doesn't mean it can't be done, just.
cutting it.
Well, I don't know about farm fields or complaints.
At least at one time they talked about what his money was.
Yeah,
You
but,
know.
Whatever happened to but he had an idea on annexation?
it's still in the discussion at the administrative level. Because if we do the annexation and we'll have to pass ordinances for that, see, we're basically waiting for the new attorney. Pass the ordinances on it, and then there are a number of steps involved with the annexation of Belleville Street. That would be, there's quite a few steps as a matter of fact, because we have to,
I believe we're waiting on a meeting with the mayor, me and the city, or the county.
the county, right?
Yeah.
And our attorney should get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think that's scheduled yet.
Because there's a lot of steps. And homeowners, the landowners need to be notified.
Yeah, who wants to pick a fight?
And, basically, it's just a matter of getting that done, getting the ordinances written, getting the votes done. And it's take it over to mapping at the county level. And then it becomes a Lebanon property and we receive the tax revenue from it. Because right now the tax revenue is going to the county.
Some of the houses around Fallon Township, the taxes over there would actually drop $11 per road district tax per household. But that's I think it was $26, $28 per household that would go to, not a lavish amount of money, $26, $28 per household that would go to the city of Lebanon. And then the IDOT refactors your motor fuel per mileage, lane mile.
My house is in O'Fallon Township and I don't pay all of the O'Fallon tax. I pay some of the O'Fallon taxes. It's the way it works. It's that the whole west side of Harmon going up there. Starting on Hunter Street is where the boundary is. Okay,
That's all I have. Thank you.
thank you. Any other business? On the Robert's rules, there being no further business on the agenda or to discuss, we are adjourned.
I would, yeah, it'll fall off. I'll get another one. Or 10.
Oh.